Joining me now is Aaron Barth, founder and president of Dialectic, a Guelph-based company that's just finished up a survey about working from home. What were some of the key takeaways in relationship to stress and mental health from this survey?
There's sort of two real high level takeaways. The first is that um, the rapid shift to remote work has forced us into short term planning, but that short term planning is going to have a long term cost in terms of human connection at work and feelings of belonging. And that's what we've seen. That, people are kind of in crisis mode still, making a lot of decisions very quickly every day. Companies are planning for today and tomorrow, because they have to, because it's so uncertain. But people are feeling less connected to their workplace cultures. I think 83% of our respondents feel disconnected from the workplace culture, and they're just disconnected from each other. And the second is that what we've sort of seen is the expansion of barriers to inclusion. What we've seen with the rapid shift towards remote work are a whole host of new barriers to inclusion. So things like social isolation, communication, disconnection, lack of technology, lack of good internet connection. So all of these start to create more barriers for people to feel connected with one another.
How do these senses of a disconnect and people not feeling as included, how does that manifest itself among employees?
Well, one is just elevated levels of stress, and anxiety and depression. Right, the mental health impacts of feeling socially isolated or not included really take a toll on us, because humans are social animals. We require, it's not a nice to have, it's a requirement to be connected to other people. And it's not that working remotely there is no connection. It's just there is a void in the kinds of connection that really fill us, right? That really make us feel fulfilled at work, that make us feel good. I mean, just mentally well.
So, for leaders who are looking at these results and thinking, how can they start to bridge that gap between inclusion and work from home, which is going to have to keep going on? So, where can they start?
De-escalating from crisis mode as soon as it's possible is going to be really important. The second is that really having leaders switch from. So what has happened is leaders have switched into what we're calling a transactional mode. So our conversations at work are now mediated by video conferencing technology, and we're focused on the work, right? The tasks, the to-do lists, and there's not a lot of water cooler talk. And that's a very transactional mindset. Again, required, but if you maintain a transactional mindset with your employees and with your team, your relationships are going to erode, trust is going to erode, and your performance is going to erode. So leaders need to switch as soon as they can from a transactional mode to a supportive mode, which is a more sort of traditional or standard role for a leader, is to provide the resources and support people need to do their best work. The third is to really take a hard look at your sick day policy. If you do not have mental health days as part of that, you need to add it. That's really important. And then actively advocating for people to take sick leave to help themselves during this time and as we move out of the pandemic.
And maybe just quickly, how can Dialectic help in terms of inclusion training and what you guys are able to do?
Yeah, so we have developed a micro-learning platform called Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Learning Snippets. So the platform sends you scenario-based exercises based on real workplace situations that help you learn the skills to be a more inclusive leader and a more inclusive employee in person. So what we're trying to do is develop scenarios that reflect these new barriers to inclusion. And we hope through the use of that platform that people can, build the skills that are required to remove those barriers and build a more connected and uh, you know fully functioning team.
Well, we know working from home is probably not going anywhere. So hopefully people can take that into consideration and take their mental health into consideration. Thanks for joining us to tell us about this survey.
Thanks for having me.